This thing on? Mic check. I just want to make sure y'all can hear me clearly. Yo, should you practice art? Or should art be your practice? I had a question, so I asked it. Not to anyone specifically, but to my inner God, you know? The one that's gonna be a master. The one that's more than a rapper. The one that's an educator. The one that seeks enlightenment. He travels with concepts. He's got the mindset expansive. He understands that his time combined with travel and concepts makes his mind convex. Sort of like when you look at a brain scan.
Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. Technically, this is a live stream that is called Comics Today, a show that we do on Wednesday to celebrate the best day of the week, that being New Comic Book Day. And as part of this show, I typically have a guest or two to help me to make sense of something that is happening in the world of comics and collectibles. But we're not going to do that today. We are, however, going to talk about some news and current events, including some collateral damage that is happening right now. And we're going to dig into that a little bit later, along with a few other, I think, interesting topics that fingers crossed you guys will enjoy. But as part of the show, because it is a celebration of New Comic Book Day, I'm going to be going to the chat here momentarily to find out what it is that you guys may have picked up at your LCSs earlier today. So if you picked up some books, let me know what books you picked up. If you read something that was good, let me know what that book is so that we can prioritize it and put it on the top of our reading stacks. If you want to shout out your LCS, that's cool as well. If you picked up a book that is not a new book, but a new book to you, we want to hear about that as well. That way we can live vicariously through you spending money. I spoke to somebody earlier today. They told me that they're going to do a video similar to the one that I did, in which I look at what happened with the value of my collectibles over the last year or so. And they were like, my comic has gone down $600. My comment to them was, it could have been worse. It could have been way worse. But if you picked up some good comics, whatever they might be, let us know that in the comment section. I'm also going to run down for you guys what I've been reading, because I've managed to read a couple of books so far this week. So I'm gonna update you guys on that. Huge shout out to Tina. The OG is up in here. I see Matt Woods in here, one of the Blue Wrenches, and also a member of the channel. So I definitely want to acknowledge those folks. Doug is shouting out Monsters. He's shouting out Monsters. He mentioned that, I think last week, made mention he picked that up. Haven't yet had a chance to check it out, but I did look it up. After the last show. Quick question for you guys. Is your comic shop still having a challenge getting books in a timely manner? And I asked that question because there were a lot of people that celebrated the breakup of the diamond monopoly with the belief that going through to multiple distributors would somehow improve the quality of distribution. It feels to me that comic shops are still challenged with getting books in on time and undamaged, despite the fact that many of the publishers have gone away from Diamond. But I'm curious what you all's experiences have been. So please sound off in the comment section. I definitely appreciate that. Matt is on the board here. He's talking about last week's Conan too. He says, great read. There you go. I do have a couple of announcements that I'm going to make for you guys super quick. After this show, I think starting at 8:30, Doug is actually going to be doing a Q&A tonight for Isolation. So if you happen to pick up one of the manuscripts that we offered up as part of the issue 4 Kickstarter, quote unquote Kickstarter, that live Q&A is taking place tonight at 8:30. I do believe, Doug, if that is incorrect, please correct me on that, but I thought that was correct. So sound off. If you didn't get an invite, let us know that, because I know that there was one person that I probably left off the list. I'm going to take responsibility for that. And thankfully they reached out to me and we were able to make it right. The other thing, well, there's a couple of things. Shout out to the OG Tina and Trev, the shipping guru. It's my understanding that both of them have been nominated for a Comic Book Community Award related to their activities as Blue Wrenches for various channels. If you have not yet voted for the Comic Book Community Awards, I encourage you to do so. figure out how best to vote for two awesome individuals that contribute to this channel, but then also clearly contribute to other channels on the YouTube machine. I will ask Matt if you could, or if somebody else could throw up in the comment section a link to the Comic Book Community Awards to maybe facilitate some voting for folks. I would appreciate that. Next thing, I am doing a sale on the Whatnots tomorrow at 8:30 on the app. So if you're feeling frisky, if you have a little bit of time, it is going down tomorrow, Thursday, 8:30 on Whatnot. We have some slabs and some raw books, some virgins, some $1 and $2 starts. Not everything, but a couple of $1 and $2 starts. That's going down tomorrow at 8:30. So if you have not bookmarked the show, please go ahead and do that. Somebody during my last live stream asked me how I go about pricing raw comics. My response to them was what I'm going to talk about now, which is I use comicspriceguide.com, and I have for years. Comicspriceguide.com has the largest database out there of comics, period. I use it for pricing, yes, but I also use it for reference. Like if there's a book and I don't know what the heck that book is, I will search for it on comicspriceguide.com because they have a massive database with all kinds of good information. So if you need pricing, if you need reference, if you need a way to organize your collection, I want to encourage you to head over to comicspriceguide.com after this live stream to check out everything that they have to offer. And clearly they are a sponsor of the channel, so I absolutely appreciate their ongoing support. All right. Joey the Stun Master, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Offering up any virgins to make the gods happy. You have to use the gods with the periods in between, because that gets to another topic we're going to talk about, which is Jonathan Hickman. Yes, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is the only Victor time zone that I operate in. It is the Eastern Standard Zone. Yes, 8:30 it is going down. I try to do something for East Coast and West Coast. That's part of the reason why we do it at 8:30. It's also after the time that my kids go to bed. So my wife Kelly comes in here and helps me. She goes by the name Kelly Does Not Collect. So she comes here and helps me keep things organized and flowing. But yes, Chuck, we are going to have some virgins that are going to be sacrificed on the altar tomorrow. And I will tell you, some of those virgins will be going for will be offered up starting at $1 as part of the auction. So again, if you guys picked up, Fred, how you doing, brother? It's good to see you. So Tina's like, vote for Trev. I love that. If you guys picked up some books, let me know what it is that you guys picked up. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. I had a friend, okay, scrolling down through some of the comments here. If you guys picked up some stuff, let me know what it is that you guys picked up. I am looking. Michael says he voted for Reggie, some guy with a lot of G's. I don't know who that guy is. Yes, Joey Stuntmaster, brother. This is what happens when you miss shows. Joey, when you miss shows, you miss wonderful details like this, sir. Yes, I am going to be at New York Comic Con. We met last year at New York Comic Con. I'm going to be back there. I'm going to be there at least Thursday through Saturday. That's what my hotel is for. So I will be around. And then we're also doing Garage Con while I'm doing updates. What did we say? November 11th? I think November 11th, I want to say, is the date. Somebody may have to correct me on that because I may not have locked it in properly. Scrolling down through some of the... Just don't add another K, brother. Scrolling down through it, scrolling through the comments here. Mark is on the board. Barnstormers 3, Heat Seekers, Crusaders. He picked up something called Reflection, which happens to be a one-shot. Jesse is on the board, picked up fun and cheap books for your birthday. Elseworlds, nothing wrong with that. A couple of cool books there. Nothing wrong with cheap, fun books, no doubt about it. Scrolling. And somebody said, I did a live stream the other day and they were like, somebody spelled my name correctly and I was giving a person a hard time. And somebody was like, well, autocorrect wants to put that extra G in there. I'm like, I know, I'm just having fun. It is nothing personal at all. Kill Your Darlings, #1 is so good, says Victor. Let's write that one down. Kill Your Darlings. clearly there's some killing going on, and yeah, it's going down. Steve's on the board. Finally got my Conan #2, he says. Scrolling through, Trev, who is nominated for a Comic Book Community Award. Shout out to Collector's Den in Wichita Falls, Texas, for the awesome 50-cent bin. There you go. That's what's up. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Scrolling. Party in Reggie's hotel room. Brother, what I will tell you is that if my hotel room is anything like my hotel room from last year, it is going to be very expensive and very, very small, like bed, dresser, sink kind of small, kind of like college. It was like a college dorm. There was more space in the hall that I took to get back to the bed than there was in the bedroom area. You gotta love New York. It was super expensive. Scrolling down through some of the comments here, see what else you guys are talking about. Scrolling. What is that? Red Room Crypto Killers. #4 was fire, says DJ Links. That's one heck of a name. That's a heck of a name. Something is killing your darling in the lake house. Oh, well done. Let me see. I picked up. Ooh, I want to read this one. Hunt for Skinwalker. I want to read that book. I saw Nirvana, which is my comic shop. Nirvana flagged that book yesterday. I want to read that one. Frog Brawler also picked up Heat Seeker, X-Men, Peacemaker, and Barnstormers. Frog Brawler is also a member of the channel here on YouTube, and I guess at some point you guys can get some icons or something like that. I think those icons may be of my face. I think some of them are my face, and some of them are Gibbon Gang badges and Swoldier badges. Yeah, so scrolling through the comments, seeing what else you guys are talking about. New York hotels are the worst, especially when you're paying for them, because I can tell you, when my company pays for them, I get a nice hotel. But when I'm paying, it's more about how close can I get to this thing for the least amount of money, right? Because you're going to pay one way or the other. You're going to pay in terms of walking time or cab time or something like that. So it's always a balance. It is a balance, but the hotel rooms are not the greatest. I typically stay in this one hotel right off of Times Square. It was perfectly located back when I was like big time training in the fitness. It was located between like a couple of gyms and a really awesome bodega that I used to go to for like breakfast. And I could get up and literally walk across one street and be in a bodega that had a wonderful breakfast. That was how I prioritized. Oh, and there was also a Starbucks. It was Starbucks, gym, and access to breakfast. Those are my priorities. What is that, Steve? I asked about my image books, and my LCS told me that the image books were stolen from multiple stores. Steve, yeah. People need to learn to keep their hands to themselves. I'm sorry. They need to learn party in Reggie's Hall. There you go, man. Because I mean, you party in my room, everybody's going to be standing on the bed, because that's the way that it's going down. Joe says, looking forward to seeing some of you at New York Comic Con on Thursday. We will be there. There's going to be some good stuff. I think we are going to have a couple of the folks associated with Marcus, and also with Isolation, the 2 comics that I am putting out available. Fantastic. Reggie, get the penthouse suite and take money at the door for a party. No, sir. No, sir. You guys would have to send your money in advance before I book a penthouse of anything. There you go. I can't even see it. I can't even see the thing. That's cool. That it's something I can't see it on my side, Matt. You guys can probably see it over there. I can't see it on my side. There you go. Frog Brawler's throwing it up there. I think you guys get some badges or something like that. There's a couple of cool things. Sounds like a new super. Scrolling down through the comments, what was it? I think it was the folks on Shortbox that were the first. I went there and they had my face up in their Discord server, and I was like, "That's cool." And I think we stole it and we moved it over to the Regie Collects Discord server, and then I stole it again and added it here to YouTube. But yeah, some cool stuff. Cool stuff. Gotta have some fun with some of this stuff. So, what have I been reading? So I was a big fan of Geiger when it dropped, and there was something. There was a news article that came up, and they were talking about Geiger, and they were talking about another title that was somehow linked, and I didn't realize that they were linked. I didn't have any awareness of this other title, so I went, sought it out, and read it, and actually enjoyed it. Called Junkyard Joe. Junkyard Joe from Image. I think the character was first seen in Geiger issue number 6, and you guys may have to correct me on that. So I went back, I read Geiger 6, and then I read Junkyard Joe 1 through 6. Both of those I do believe are from Image. Enjoyed both of those. I also started reading Telepaths. From AWA. I'm on issue 3 right now, and I think it goes up to issue 6. I enjoy a lot of the books that have come out from AWA, especially like what was it? Something Rising. I can't remember the exact title. You guys probably know it. It was one of the early issues that they released where people got superpowers. I enjoyed that read. I think it came out maybe 2021, maybe. But I enjoyed that. I read Moths. Moths was okay. I loved Erratic. And then also I'm now again reading Telepaths from AWA issues 1 through 3. And I'm going to try to check out Killing Your Darling, because that sounds sort of interesting. So we're going to have to check that out. Junkyard Joe was probably one of the best series I've read in a while. I thought it was great. Yes, that was one of the cool things about it, is that they did do something related to veterans that was, I think, genuine and unique, and actually like part of the story, to some degree or another. You know what I'm saying? Because if you read the story of Junkyard Joe, it was almost about somebody that goes off to war and comes back displaced. And when you take a step back, that's kind of what the story is about, but it's about so much more than that. And then they tied in the charities. I thought it was incredibly well done. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Jess is on the board here. Love Geiger and read a couple of Junkyard Joe. Really well written. They did a good job. They did a good job with that. Seth, we are, I think, going to try to do some cool things for GarageCon. I think we're going to try to do some things here. I think maybe the day before GarageCon, maybe we'll do a night activity for the folks that are coming in a little early. I don't know what that's going to be. And then, of course, GarageCon we'll probably start GarageCon a little bit later, maybe 10, maybe 9:30, 10 o'clock, something like that, to maybe shave off some of that those cold temperatures. I'm an early riser, so by 8, I'm like ready to go. I mean, I'm up at 6, so by 8, I'm like, let's do this thing. But I think maybe pushing it back a little bit may actually help. So who is that? John says Animal Castle has been good. Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna make note of that one. Again, this is part of the way that I find out about what's actually good, and there's a reason for this, because it helps me, and I think it helps other people out there that are like, well, what's good out to read right now? That's part of why we take. There you go. The Resistance. There you go. And Resistance Uprising. There you go. Thank you, James. I definitely appreciate that. Those are all. I thought this said erotic for a minute when I was about to say that. I don't know what that title is, sir, but Erratic. Yes, sir. I think you gotta put the dash in there. I think there's like a hyphen that is missing from that. James, get it together, brother. Get it together. It is going down. There's a couple of cool things that folks don't know about that we're going to be doing. So I definitely want to encourage you guys to stay tuned for that. All right. So one of the things that I put up was who are some of the best writers that are out, modern day writers. But I want you guys to hold that for a second. I want you to hold it for a second before you start to sound off, so that I don't miss your comments. This was an article that I saw earlier today, and I did a short on it. After reinventing the X-Men, Jonathan Hickman returns to Marvel for project I swore I would never work on, right? So Jonathan has basically made it known that he is only going to work on projects that he is excited about. And he was excited about House of X and Powers of 10. I enjoyed what he did with the X-Men. A lot of people say, well, some people say it started off good and it fell off. Maybe so. There are other people that did not enjoy it. I enjoyed what he put together, and it was a lot of reading. There were a lot of words. I read it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fresh and refreshing to actually read. And I was sad to see him go. He departed, I think, relatively quickly, at least in my estimation. But this was an article that was done in which Jonathan talked about the secret project that he is working on. That was not the focus of this the interview that was done. The interview was actually done to talk about Gods, which is a comic that I think he has coming up in October, maybe October 5th or something like that. But he made a statement in here, and I'll see if I can find it. I'm working on another book for Marvel right now that I swore I would never work on. The sole reason why I'm doing it is that there was a way into it that I had never considered before. I found it, and now I'm having the time of my life working on it. How long will it last? I don't know. I'll definitely quit when I stop feeling that. That last sentiment is something that he kind of spoke about previously, right? He spoke about that previously, and I guess that's why he decided to walk away from X-Men. But Jonathan Hickman, I think, is a solid writer. He's touched a lot of IP at Marvel, and the question is, what character, team, IP do you think that he is working on? That is like the big question. He has touched a lot of stuff. And so it's like one of these things, like what might he actually be doing? While you guys think about that and maybe offer up some comments, I am excited to see what he does with Gods. And I think that there was a teaser video that was released from about Gods a while ago that I was not really impressed with, to be honest with you. But what I think he's going to do is to rejuvenate the cosmic landscape the same way that he reinvigorated the mutants. And so I am a huge fan of cosmic stuff. Like Jim Starlin for me is just amazing. What he did back in the 90s for cosmic blew me away. And I'm hopeful that Jonathan Hickman is able to do something magical for the cosmic landscape moving forward. And so fingers crossed. And again, if this guy's excited about it, I have to get excited about it because I enjoy some of the stuff that he has worked on. There is no doubt about that one. All right. So, okay. So let me go to the chat real quick to see what you guys are talking about. Victor is saying X-Men. He's already done X-Men. He's already done X-Men. I don't think he's going to touch it. I just hope Jonathan Hickman brings something new and refreshing in the future. I think so. I think so. Starling, man, he had me buying all kinds of Infinity related stuff, Adam Warlock stuff, Thanos related stuff, because he crushed it. He crushed it. And that left a lasting impression with Oscar. You gotta put that dash in the, man. I'm telling you, if you don't put it in the right place, it will get out of control on you, no doubt about it. So again, I am curious what you guys are thinking in terms of what it is that Jonathan Hickman might be working on. If there's something you think he should work on, I'm definitely interested in hearing that. I think he could do a whole lot for Spider-Man. The Spider-Man universe is just it's not magical. It's not magical in my mind. And so if he were to work on that, I think that would be great. Somebody else said Captain America. These legacy characters that have been around, where lots of people have taken shot on goal to breathe new life into them. So that's kind of why I was thinking about Spider-Man, but somebody mentioned Captain America. That kind of made sense to me. Phil Tastic is on the board here. He says Hickman has worked on Fantastic Four, Avengers, X-Men. I don't think he'd be right for Spider-Man, but I'd like to see him on the Inhumans. But that's more mutants. That's more mutants to me. Is there enough room for him to play with the Inhumans? Right? Or is that a property that is going to go by the wayside for a little while and be revisited later? Is there enough there? I don't know. I don't know about Inhumans. The Spider-Man universe is a big universe, Captain America, but that's a little bit of Avengers. So I don't know. But again, any of us can be right. So, I appreciate the shot on goal that's been taken. Where's the Dreadstar movie, brother? Pick a movie, pick a TV show that has been rumored. Yeah, Hollywood is at a standstill, brother. Hollywood is at a standstill, no doubt about that. It was like Jim Starlin was born to write the best. There you go. The name fits. No doubt. Scrolling through, JMS is taking on Captain America this year, says Herman. Jonathan is working on Power Pack. I would bet Reggie's whole collection. I wouldn't. I would not bet my collection on anything you say, Michael. Feel free to bet your own collection, but no, don't put my collection out there. Let's not do that. Let's not get frisky. Let's not get that frisky. And I'm stalling here because it seemed like somebody was at my gate, and now I'm not able to see them. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, let me see. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Again, for those folks that showed up a little bit late, there is going to be a Q&A tonight. I think at 8:30, Doug is leading that. It is an isolation Q&A. He's going to be revealing some secrets. I think he has some surprises. He's going to be talking about basically isolation, past, present, future, some little known facts related to it. So if you purchase one of the manuscripts, you should have received an invite. I hope you guys are able to join that Q&A. I hope everybody that joins enjoys it. Tomorrow we're doing a whatnot sale at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is going down. So those were two of the reminders that I wanted to throw out for you guys. Oh my goodness. Michael, you are on a roll tonight, sir. Normally it's Bueller that is at my gate, and that's part of the reason why we electrified it, to make sure that he didn't get too close to. There you go. Somebody's on it. Wellbore's on it. Well done, sir. Well done. All right. So we spoke a little bit about Jonathan Hickman. I saw somebody put up a comment there about one of the writers that they felt was a solid writer, but I'm also going to throw it out there for you guys to see who you think some of the better writers might actually be. And this was an article that came out on Popverse. Who are Marvel Comics top writers and artists? And part of the reason why I threw this up there is because somebody, when I released that short on Jonathan Hickman, commented that Jonathan Hickman was the only great writer that Marvel had left. And I don't know if I shared that opinion, but I thought it was something that should be at least explored and thrown out there. So the guy, Chris, who I don't always agree with, I will tell you that, Chris wrote this article, and he actually runs down some of the writers here. He throws out Donnie Cates, Al Ewing, Benjamin Percy, Jed McKay, Jerry Dugan, and Chris Cantwell as some of the better writers that are out there. This was actually done earlier this year, so I don't know if these writers are all still contracted with Marvel. And one of the things that I think about is this exclusivity, this exclusive contract that Marvel and DC try to sign. Is that a thing of the past, right? Because if you think about it, a lot of creators have left to go off and do the creator-owned thing. So is the exclusive deal a thing of the past? Should it be more of a free agency? And to that point, the writer actually threw some stuff up here. He makes mention of, if I can find it, no, that's artist. There was a graph in here that he put in here about some of the writers who write for both Marvel and DC. And he came up with this, he used this term of free agents, and he highlights a couple of these free agents like John Ridley, Chip Zdarsky, who else? Ram V, as some Ed Brisson, as a couple of these writers that are out there that work for both companies. And it's, again, is free agency the way, or is exclusivity still the route that these companies are going to try to push for? What is that? Of the set, I'd pick Al Ewing, but he is erratic. His last project or two were hampered with incoherent art. Oof, yeah. The art, a good story can absolutely be impacted by bad art. But the question that I wonder about is, was that an artistic vision that the writer had, right? Because I think, and you guys have to correct me, does the writer have some input into the artist that they work with? And maybe that was a creative decision that was made by Al that did not work very well. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a chance to read a early copy of Dracula coming out from Skybound. I had a chance to read that. And as I looked at the artwork, it really wasn't my style of art. but the art to some degree or another kind of fit the story and fit the writer, or at least how it was being written. So it's a question of, is there a little bit of artistic creation that is not being executed properly? Just something I throw out. Donnie Cates, I don't know the whole story with Donnie. I think there was a couple of videos like, where is Donnie Cates, that were out there. He disappeared, and I heard something about a car accident, but I have not dug into that one. I think Donnie's solid. He made me care about Eddie Brock. I will tell you that. Run me through it is saying my favorite writers at the moment are Eric July. Nothing wrong with that. With Isom doing a solid job on that. Scrolling through some of the comments here. Free agency is the way to get good writing. I don't know if I disagree with that, brother. I don't know. I think that you have to maybe allow creative people to be creative. And if you're locking them in, then they feel confined, and maybe you're not going to get your best work out of them. You know, I see the advantage for a publisher to want to lock down talent, but I also see the advantage for the creator to not be locked down, to have some freedom and latitude to work on some wonderful IP, but also to work on other projects that they may be super passionate about, that allows them to be creative and to have some creative freedom, and maybe actually make some real money, right? To make some real money. Because when you hear about sometimes how much these creators are paid, it's not as much money as they would want, probably. But sometimes, you know, giving them some freedom may actually go a long way. Let me see what else you guys are talking about. Carrie, is that Carrie? Yeah, Carrie. The majority of the time, I really like Chip Zdarsky stuff. Donnie Cates has been pretty solid. Yep, no doubt about that one. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Cole, who is Cole? Cole's up in here. Milt's up in here. How you doing, Milt? It's good to see you, brother. Welcome. He was in a car wreck. Thank you. Yeah, I think I did see something briefly about that, but I have, again, not looked into. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy and very sad, because he was absolutely in love with that woman. At least that was the appearance. Wow. That's tough. Benjamin Percy. What does Benjamin Percy work on? I'm not the best with names, to be honest with you. So what does he actually work on? There you go. TMX is on there. Thank you guys for giving me the details. I appreciate that. How many writers did Distillery recently grab? I forget the list, but I remember it being solid. Again, Distillery is one of those publishers that has come on the scene. I think AWA is doing some things, trying to make some moves. And I will tell you, I've been having conversations with different publishers, fledgling publishers that are trying to get things up and running. And I think there's a real grassroots type of thing to some degree. Not that Distillery is, but they are new. But there is a movement, I feel, away from some of the more established things that have been done in the past with these contracts, where people are getting locked down for years. I think people want a little bit more freedom than that. So maybe if Marvel and DC actually do that, maybe the quality of what they ultimately do get will actually go up. Maybe there's a little bit more profit sharing. Maybe there's more creative freedom that is given, and maybe the quality of the stories that actually get told will actually improve. So we shall see. A lot of people giving details here. I definitely appreciate that. Tom, how you doing, brother? I appreciate you. Welcome to the live stream. There you go. A couple of comments there about some writers and creators in general. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. Scrolling through the comments. What is that? I heard this rumor too. I heard that rumor too, that guy, Doug Bratton, is doing some good stuff. I heard that. I heard that he's also affiliated with an amazing publisher, just SWOLDIER.com, absolutely killing the game, coming out with their second title in October. You know, Kickstarter going on. You may want to go buy SWOLDIER Publishing and pick up a copy of that. You know, just all kinds of good stuff I'm hearing. Scrolling down through some of the comments. All right, I think I'm all caught up on that one. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about is also something that I briefly spoke about in a short earlier today. And this is where the collateral damage actually comes into play. This was an article that popped up on Variety. Warner Brothers Discovery says it will take a $300 to $500 million hit to its earnings for 2023 due to the ongoing strikes in Hollywood. And the reality of this, and I think I said it in the short, is that Warner Brothers Discovery generally is going to be okay because they're going to make somewhere between, estimates say, 10.5 to 11 billion dollars. That's how much money they're going to make. So 300 to 500 million is a lot, but they're still making crazy amounts of money. But there are ramifications to them making less money. There's also ramifications to the strike. And that's kind of sort of where the collateral damage comes from. And I pointed this out to a few people in the comment section when they started to make comments on this, like, don't worry about Warner Brothers. Well, it's not about Warner Brothers. It's about the people that work for Warner Brothers that may be laid off as a result of Warner Brothers making less money. It is about the people that get to enjoy this content that may not have a whole lot more content to watch because of the ongoing strike in Hollywood. The people that depend upon the jobs that come out of Hollywood, that come out of the spending of money to create new content. There's a lot of downstream effects to Warner Brothers making less money and downstream effects to the ongoing strike that is actually taking place in Hollywood. And that was kind of the reason why I highlighted this, was because it's not about Warner Brothers per se. It's about the fact that they may lay off more people. It is about the fact that they may have less money to invest in new content for the future. And that means less jobs and less revenue for other people that depend upon that content. And also us, we have less content to enjoy. If you guys pay attention, there's a whole lot less news coming out of Hollywood right now. As a result, we don't know when movies and TV shows are going to be coming out, right? I've seen the websites that talk about Hollywood regurgitating and recycling old rumors because they don't have anything else to talk about, right? Dazzler, the whole Taylor Swift potentially returning as Dazzler, that started back in 2016. And they're putting it out there now as if it is a fresh rumor. That is a long-standing rumor because of the collateral damage that is being felt. And so to that point, let's go to another article here that I was able to find that looks at a little bit of this actual collateral damage. Hollywood strikes may have already had a $3 billion impact on California's economy. Experts say it is causing a lot of hardship. And again, this is not about David Zaslav or executives per se. It's about the other people that depend upon Hollywood. Widespread impacts from restaurant to real estate. The strikes don't impact just writers or actors. Halted production impacts all kinds of businesses, including companies that provide catering for productions, restaurants near studios, prop houses, set builders, dry cleaners, professional drivers, florists, and a lot more. And it says a lot of different people are impacted surrounding the industry, and it's causing a lot of hardship. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they find a way to resolve whatever the dispute is. And there's lots of rumors about who's being stubborn, who's not being willing to concede. This is having real impact for actual people that need jobs. And it is honestly a shame that it is happening. I get it. I get why the strike is occurring, right? No doubt about that. Fingers crossed that they're able to come to some resolution and again, get people back to work. Get people back to work creating really great content that I get to sit down and watch, and that you get to sit down and watch, right? Because that is definitely the goal. Scrolling through, what is it? There are currently 5 planned versions of The Bachelor. Please get the writers, creatives back on the payroll. That is funny. Scrolling through, wait, Taylor Swift returning as Dazzler. When was sorry? If I misspoke, that is my bad. So what I was saying is that it has been a long-standing rumor that Taylor Swift was going to take on the role of Dazzler. And the rumor has been circulating as of late. And as a result of that, Dazzler related books have actually been selling like crazy. And I actually warned against this in a video. I think it was X-Men 130 has gone up as a result of this rumor. Dazzler 1 has gone up. And this rumor is being put out there in the present day as if it is a new rumor that she is going to be in the Deadpool 3 movie. But when you trace the thread back, the rumor, I think, was originally circulating back in 2016 that she was going to be in one of the X-Men movies. That's kind of what I was getting to. Sorry if I caused any confusion with my sentence structure. So scrolling through, Run Me Through says, what I understand about the strike, the companies have agreed to all terms for one, and that's what's except for one. The strikers want a writer's room with 11 paid writers. Studios say that that's too many. Fingers crossed that they can come to some resolution. I don't know how many writers it takes to run a writer's room. I'll be completely honest. I have no clue, no insight. What is that? This is funny. I heard Doug Bradden is rumored to play Dazzler and Dev. I'm gonna be honest with you. Dazzler at certain points wears a jumpsuit. I don't want to see Doug in a jumpsuit. I'm gonna just be honest with you. If you remember her appearance, there's like bright lights. That's what would probably burn my corneas if I were to ever see Doug Bradden in a one-piece jumpsuit. Not something. You're making it worser. You are making it worser. I'm happy I've had my X-Men 130 for a while. I don't understand the spec around that. I don't expect a large crossover. Yeah, completely agree, man. Completely agree. You know, I feel like that there has been some decoupling of the movie TV show stuff to comics. I feel like there's been a little decoupling. It still exists. There is no doubt about that. But the reality is that I don't think that there's real opportunity here. I don't. And I own X-Men 130. At least I think I do over there in one of those bins. Save your money. Wait until the rumor dies down again. If you're like a diehard Dazzler fan, right? Just wait until it blows over, then go ahead and scoop it up. To be fair, it was a 5-piece. Michael, I'm gonna have to read your comments ahead of time, sir. I'm not gonna be able to read your comments out loud. For those folks that are showing up a little bit late, we are spending a little bit of time talking about various topics. We just spoke a little bit about the collateral damage that exists with the ongoing strike that is taking place in Hollywood. I released a video earlier today, and folks thought that I was basically talking about the fact that Warner Brothers was going to miss out on some money, but the reality is that it is the downstream effects of the Hollywood strike that give me pause. And here was an article that was on CNBC that talks about the widespread impact of the strikes, right? It is not just about the writers and actors. It certainly isn't about the executives, right? This impacts a lot of businesses. So halted production impacts all kinds of businesses, including those that provide catering, restaurants near studios, prop houses, set builders, dry cleaners, professional drivers, florists, and more. They're estimating that this strike up to this point, and this was released August 9th, has potentially had a $3 billion impact on California's economy, right? And the reality is that if these businesses are suffering, and I'm talking about the florist and the prop guy and the driver, then that means that people are suffering, which means that families are suffering. That is the collateral damage that gives me the most concern, right? That is really where it is. And then as a consumer of content, if Warner Brothers and others are losing hundreds of millions of dollars, that is going to have an impact on the money that they have to invest in content that I get to enjoy, right? They're trying to kick off the DCU. If budgets are tight, if they're not making as much money, then they're going to have to juggle some things and to try to figure out how best to prioritize that stuff. So let's take it one step further. I'm not going to go into this one in great detail, but Roku is laying off 10% of employees, and they're also going to take up to $65 million charge to actually remove some of their streaming content. Streamers have to pay to have this content available. If a lot of people can't afford to sign up for Roku, if they don't have new content coming in that allows them to offset the catalog that they have with new content coming in because people are signing up, they have to get rid of that content because they are paying fees for that. So this article actually goes through on Variety the fact that they're cutting or laying off 300 staffers. 10% of their workforce is 300 people. Now, mind you, I think that they had already laid off 200 people. So you're talking 500 people that have already lost their jobs. They started with 3,600 and they are now cutting back. But this article also highlights some additional people, some additional tech companies. Some of them are entertainment companies that are also laying off people as well. You have percentages and you have absolute numbers here. National Geographic, all writing staff has been let go. It is tough. It is tough. Again, fingers crossed that the strike resolves itself and this collateral damage can be abated. And let's get people back to work. Let's get people back to being creative and being creative and earning a paycheck and spending that paycheck. Let's get things back on board. As long as the streaming AI issues have been handled, I feel positive for a resolution happening sooner rather than later. To me, that's what I heard was one of the biggest sticking points was the AI stuff. That seemed to be one of the biggest sticking points. But again, I haven't been tracking some of this as closely as others. So I was a little hesitant to really dig into that one. But again, what is it? This is a move to usher in AI in creative capacity, says Comic Books Galore. And again, I think that that's why that potentially is one of the bigger sticking points. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I did not pull this. What is that? AI is the future of streaming shows movie. No more pay writers, producers. So one of the things that I did not show you is that I think it's Comcast and Disney have changed the terms to discuss the sale of Hulu. I think Comcast owns 1/3 of Hulu, 2/3 is owned by Disney. They were originally going to start conversations about the sale of Hulu from Comcast to Disney in January of 2024. They've now moved that up to September 30th. And I don't really know why they pulled it forward, but they're going to have some discussions about another streaming platform, that being Hulu. And maybe Disney has a plan to integrate all of Hulu into a larger strategy. But there's been clearly a lot of conversations about the streaming platforms. We've been talking about the streaming platforms off and on for several months now. It's like the streaming wars where they've gone to battle. There are going to absolutely be some losers and there's going to be some big winners. I think time will be time will tell who exactly they will be, but I know Netflix will definitely survive. There is no doubt about that one. Netflix is still the king. Still no doubt about that one. All right. What is that? They shouldn't even be talking about AI. They should want to keep people as creators. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a really interesting time right now. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see how a lot of this stuff actually plays out. So with that said, we're going to wrap up a little early tonight. Again, for those that came in a little late, I am going to be doing a whatnot sale tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have, and I look over there because that's where the books are. There's a bunch of slabs. There's a bunch of raw books. Some of those raw books will be starting at $1, some at $2, some higher than that. So if you guys can join me on the whatnot, I will try to put a link in the description of this video once it uploads for you guys if you want to join me, or you can just search for Regie Collects. We have one more video that is going to be dropping this week on Thursday. I think it's a good video. I encourage you guys to check it out. If you haven't seen the other 2 videos that were released earlier this week, I definitely want to encourage you guys to check that out. New York Comic Con. I will be at New York Comic Con with the creative teams for both Isolation and Marcus. Those are the 2 comics that I am working on as part of Swoldier Publishing. We will have some surprises. There will be some con surprises. So I definitely encourage you guys, if you are in the New York area, to swing by, check us out. Stay tuned for all the details as to where we're actually going to be. But the creative team will be there to meet you guys, to sign, to talk about both Marcus and Isolation. And then we're also doing GarageCon. GarageCon is going down here at my house in November. I think it's November 11th. It should be a fun time. I'm not quite sure what we're going to have in terms of turnout. The economy is not great, so I don't know if we're going to have people jumping on planes. But my hope is that the people that can make it, and that we have a good time coming together, no matter how large or how small. If you have not yet voted for the Comic Book Community Awards, we have 2 members of this channel that are in the running for a really awesome award. And it is Tina and Trev, the shipping guru. I encourage you, if you have not voted, to head over to the Comic Book Community Awards website, cast your vote for those that you believe are deserving for those awards. All right. With that said, Tina's on it. Tina is on it. Shout out to Tina. Shout out to Trev, the shipping guru. I appreciate you guys. Shout out also to the members of Patreon and the members of the channel. The proceeds from those 2 things help me to do some of the stuff that I do in terms of putting out comics and affording shipping for certain things and covering shipping sometimes for people because I try to do that. So Doug is also doing a live stream at 8:30. So if you guys are signed up for that, I hope you guys have a good time with that live stream. I think there's a couple of surprises planned. All right. As always, if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.
Straight off meditation, we was concaving until we had that eternal dialogue that created our dialect. Now we in distinct rooms with pure souls having them conversations. Synergy and combinations. You fly and we waiting. Indian style in the gold temple of greatness. When you follow the North Star, you coming for the education. This is my audio book. These rhymes are just the imagery. More like an audiographic novel or a memoir about a young MC making timeless music with his mentor. I pray I grasp my letters that was meant to last forever.